so that you have enough room that when you do make money here at Phil's Gang, and you will, because you're going to learn how to short stocks, that there's enough room to send some money to St. Jude. That's why we never raised our price. And that's why we give you good value. So, you want to continue with good value, good information, be on the right side of the market? Join my gang, philsgang.com, where the price has not moved, where we fight inflation. philsgang.com.
Did you know breast cancer kills 113 people every day?
That's unacceptable.
African American women die from breast cancer nearly 41% more than Caucasian women.
That's unacceptable.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of all cancer deaths for Hispanic women.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Together with Susan G. Komen, we're committed to reducing U.S. breast cancer deaths by half.
And we're going to do it by 2026. Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com. Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially in the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color code chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy. Is your business prepared to respond to any emergency in the workplace? Well, you better be. Let over 30 years of law enforcement experience go to work for you. Boyd Investigative Group is here for all your business security needs. I know. I use them. They're terrific. Call today for your free confidential consultation. 941-724-4535. That's 941-724-4535. Or visit them on the website, boydinvestigativegroup.com.
License number A1900020.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. The stock stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
The U.S. economy, it is in pretty solid condition.
The economy, there's still a risk of recession. I mean, you can see that from various indicators, like the manufacturing sector is contracting. We can see that from the payroll number is one of the weaker areas. And the yield curve is very deeply inverted. And, there is risk coming from China as well. So I do think that the market is underappreciating the risk of recession.
And she's right. She's right. The biggest problem with the stock market, why 85% of people lose money. And let's just take 401ks. In 2008, if you had a 401k, you lost about $2.5 trillion. Now, that's about 25%. So let's move up to 2022. You lost 23% in 2022. Now, to get even, you got to gain not 23%, but about 33%. So those in 401ks who are saying, well, I'm doing better in my 401k for the first 6 months of this year, well, you're really not. Because if you're up about 4%, which I think that's what they're up about 4%, the problem is, again, you have to get even, you got to get up to about 34% in gains. So from last year. So really, if you're even up 4%, you're not. So you're still really upside down. Now, inflation's a terrible thing. Inflation's a terrible thing. And it's brought on us. There's nothing worse than inflation. In fact, if you had $100,000 you put in a savings account, let's say in 2008, 2007, 2008, and in inflation, your buying power today would probably be at that 100,000. Maybe if you're lucky, you got about 50% of that 100,000 left. There's nothing worse than inflation, and inflation can be controlled. Just don't create deficits. The government just shouldn't have to. If they just stop spending more money than they take in revenues, you wouldn't have to suffer. But they're never going to do that. So to be successful in the stock market, one of the biggest problems why 85% of the people lose money, they don't understand not only the stock market, but more importantly, they don't understand how the bond market works, which is tied to the stock market. If you only knew how it worked, it would help you. Give me an example. So yesterday morning, we saw the market go up 400 points. I'm going, what the hell's going on? 400 points. Well, guess what? They came out. It was a feel-good day because they said Berkshire Hathaway made an all-time new high. Everybody was celebrating. So today we wake up, and the market goes down 400 points. Now, what the hell's that? 800-point turnaround. And I said, oh, that's because the fake business network came out this morning. So, well, that's because of the downgrading from AAA. Well, wait a minute. We knew about the AAA yesterday. Well, here's what they didn't want to tell you. The reason why they didn't say that yesterday, they needed a big headline yesterday. They needed a big headline yesterday to mask what's going on. Underneath the surface, there is tremendous panic in the banks and the banking sector. Because, see, banks have to borrow money. And you know what they're paying for money right now? They've been paying since October. You know that October low everybody talks about after we had that 38% crash from November of 2020, January 2022. The market went down about 38%. Well, that October, remember, came so infamous. Oh, that's the bottom, that's the bottom. Well, from that date to today, do you know what banks are paying for money? 4.1%. And today they're now paying 5.4%. So how'd the market rally from October to where we are today? We're up about, what is it, Willie? We're up about maybe 20%, 25. How'd the market go up 25% when banks have to borrow money at around 5%, 4 to 5%? They're not making any money. In other words, how'd the market go up? Because if you think about it, if you go back to March of 2023, we had 3 banks go down. Remember that? The 3 biggest banks are the regional banks. They went down. Why? Because those 3 regional banks were borrowing money at the same rate they're borrowing money today. But wait a minute, how come banks aren't going down today? So you had Silicon Valley Bank, Regional Bank, and First Republic Bank go down in March of 2023 because they were borrowing money. Matter of fact, a little less than where they're borrowing money today. They're borrowing money today at 5.44%. They were borrowing money just a little less than that, like 5.41%. So why aren't the banks failing today? But they failed in March when banks had to borrow that money at that kind of price. When you borrow money, a bank borrows money at 5.4%. They're losing money in their bond portfolio. They're losing money in their loan portfolio. They're screwed. But let's think about that. So today, we're not getting any announcement the banks are going down. Not one announcement. The banks, but we lost 3 in one day when we had the rates at 5%, where they had to borrow money at 5% back in March. So what's driving the market? Well, what they did is between October and now, they're financially engineering the market. And I remember between October and now, we had 2 pullbacks of about 9%. We're getting ready for another pullback of about 9%. Because what's pushing the market up, holding it up there, is, remember what they did. They came in with $2 trillion, Aunt B, who's the head of the Treasury, and she started to use that $2 trillion to hold up the 177 banks. That should be an announcement today that they all collapsed, but we're not getting an announcement that they're all collapsing because she's sitting there with her little banking program holding the market, holding these banks up so they don't fail. That's what they're doing. That's how they're holding the whole banking system up right now. Can you imagine that? And the tech stocks, how they hold them up? My God, high interest rates? Are you kidding me? They hate high interest rates. The techs always fall when there's high interest. Well, how are they holding them up? Well, when they got the hedge fund managers together, the pension fund managers together, the 401k managers together. They got the biggest banks, the 5 biggest banks together, the insurance companies together, and they pulled $15 trillion not long ago to hold up those banks, hold up the tech stocks, to hold up Apple and Microsoft, to hold up the other 5 of the Magnificent 7, so the market would go up. So we got a market going up when banks are borrowing money between 4 and 5%, and the 10-year Treasury yields at 4%. And when the 10-year Treasury yields at 4%, it's reverted, and that means we're going to get a recession, the market's going to crash. So the reason why they're holding these markets up right now, because they're scared. Because remember, all the big pension funds, all the big managers of those pension funds and hedge funds and insurance companies and all the big banks, they got to get their unions out. They got to get their unions out. They got to get the union workers out, the police, the fire, the nurses union, all the, the city workers, the state workers. So they're artificially making this rally, trying to get them out, keep getting them out. And the minute they're out, they'll pull the bid and the market's going to crash. So just think about it. How is it that this market went up from October to today when banks are paying 4 to 5% for money, and the last time they did that, the 3 biggest banks, regional banks, collapsed, but none collapsing today?
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member. and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. You know, I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records, and the Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Are you a stock market investor without all the information?
What are you, nuts? Market's going up, market's going down. We're getting all this bad information.
How do you invest intelligently? Phil Grandy can show you.
If you want real information and you really want to know what the market's going to do and you want the truth, go to my site, philsgang.com, and also listen to me on my radio show every weekday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com, where you get the truth and you get the information you need about the market.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform, no matter what level of investor you are. Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action, avoid market pitfalls, and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Phil Grandy has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free. If anything, during that 10-day period, you're going to learn how the market really works. You're going to find information that you never had before. You're going to walk away and go, I didn't know that. So join my gang for 10 days free, philsgang.com. And you're also going to learn how to make money when the market goes down. It's kind of silly just sitting there when the market going down, hoping. Why hope when you can sell short and make money? Either way, you make money when the market goes up, you make money when the market goes down. That's the benefit of Phil's Gang. You make money.
Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level.
philsgang.com. Sign up free for 10 days.
Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join my gang. Go to philsgang.com where it says get started. And for 10 days, you will learn how the yields work, how it affects you, your stock, and how you can make good decisions. You'll make much better decisions once you understand how the yields affect your stock. Give you an example. Let's take the 10-year Treasury yield and the 3-month Treasury yield. If you go back in 2012, from 2008 to 2012, remember they're doing that QE? They printed all this money, printed trillions and trillions of dollars, and then they'd go buy 10-year Treasuries. The Federal Reserve would buy 10-year Treasuries at an auction to bring that Treasury yield down. So when the Treasury yield went down, then the Federal Reserve could take their rates. Now remember, there's a different set of rates. They're called the Fed's short-term rate. Those are the rates when you're going to buy a car, or you're going to buy a snowmobile and finance it, or furniture, or you're going to do an addition to your house, or you're going to borrow money for your business. They charge you based on the short-term Fed rate. So you have two different rates. But to get the short-term Fed rate as close to zero as possible, that's what they did. Why? Because they wanted to give that money to their corporations so they could buy, all the tech companies, so they could buy their own shares back to push their stock price up, which they would never have been able to do with earnings. So understand this. So after the crash in 2008, it would take years for the market to go back up. So they figured they could short circuit it, they could cheat, they could financially engineer it, instead of sitting back and doing what they should have done, increase productivity, focused on the value stocks, really get things going. They said, let's make this quick. Let's print all this money. The Fed, let's go buy 10-year treasuries that the Fed did. That will drive the long-term 10-year treasury yield down. They'll drive my short. Now I can drop my short-term yield from 5% to 0, so I can loan all this money to corporations, buy their own shares back. With less shares, their yields go up, and stock price goes up without improved earnings, without improved sales, without nothing. That's why it used to be illegal. All right. So it got very, very important. Do you understand the difference between the yields, how it's going to affect your stock, and you're going to know when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Now tonight, around 7 o'clock, I'm going to have on YouTube, and starting around 6 o'clock on Instagram, and YouTube, there's a little short segment on how to understand what Treasury yields are doing, the 3-month, the 2-year, 10-year, how it affects you, and how you can use it to be a better investor, so you can make decisions should you buy a stock or not buy a stock. Then around 7:30, we'll have the long explanation, very detailed explanation. So check it out on my Instagram and then on my YouTube channel. Okay, so in 2008, after they decided to go buy all these treasuries, bring the yields down, so by 2012 now, the 3-month treasury, now remember what the 3-month treasury, that's the short term, that's the 3-month treasury is what banks pay when they go and they need money. Your bank needs money, because remember, we got to get banks money, because that's the oxygen. When banks have money and they lend it out, that's the oxygen to the economy. That's what grows the economy. Okay, but unfortunately what they've been doing is they're growing the economy, putting money into productivity, putting money into new buildings and equipment. They all did stock buybacks. But regardless, so the 3-month treasury in 2012 was at 0.1%, 0.1%. The 10-year treasury at 1.6%. So what do I know as an investor? Well, I know the banks now, my God, if they're only paying 0.1% to borrow money, they can loan money out really cheap, and they're going to get a lot of oxygen in the economy, so I should be buying stocks. Now I look at the 10-year, and it's at 1.6%. Now the 10-year Treasury tells me at 1.6%, that low, that market is going to go up. And it did. And from 2012 all the way up to 2018, because they kept, the banks were putting so much liquidity into the market and oxygen, loaning money to everybody. When we got to 2018, if you remember, I said on January 16, 2018, I said this market's going to begin a series of crashes. And the first crash is going to be 2018 because they kept these interest rates too low for too long. 2018, all of a sudden the 3-month Treasury, what the bank has to now pay to borrow money, went from 0.1% to 2.3%. So that's telling me, I better get my gang starting to short the market. The 10-year Treasury was now from 1.6% to 3%. Wow. The big boys aren't going to buy stocks. The big institutions with 10-year Treasury at 3%. So I knew then, and I made the announcement on January 16th, there'd be a crash. And there was in November, the market went down. So understand what I'm saying. Because if you understand the Treasury yields, it gives you the idea, like in 2012, I had my gang members long because I knew if banks were only paying 0.1% for money and they're going to loan it out. And I knew the 10-year Treasury is going to be 1.6%. There's going to be a lot of institutions buying, so the market was going to go up. We were right. But then I knew in 2018 when that 3-month Treasury went to 2.3%, I go, banks have to pay more money. They're not going to do as much lending. Economy's going to start slowing up a bit. The market's going to drop. And then I look at the 10-year at 3%. Institutions are going to cut back on buying, and it went down. So that's how it helps you. 85% of people lose money because they don't understand what the Treasury means. It's a big hint to your buying and selling of stocks. And the other reason you lose money, because you don't know how to sell short. So in 2018, I had my members set up to short because I understood what the yields were telling me, because the yields are never wrong. Never wrong. They said the market was going to go down in 2018, and it did. So we shorted. More when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
I believe that every single human being with a laptop computer and an internet connection should be required to give trading at least a shot.
Following Bill, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life.
I believe that every educated individual on planet Earth.
I would recommend Bill's gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents.
Should do this. It's not for every single human being on Earth. I know this, but it's one of those things that you should try, because if you happen to get it right, if you happen to be one of the ones that this is for.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free.
What's in front of you is a life of incredible joy, freedom, and independence.
philsgang.com.
You can be a successful investor in the stock market by knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy the stock. Then you have two people on the show. One guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right, follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals. You follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
Want the truth when investing in the stock market? Here's how.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Listen to my radio show every day because that's where you're going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth listening to these dopes on Fake Business News Network. The other day, Kramer said, don't listen to the banks. They're giving you wrong information. When he told you to buy Merrill Lynch, remember? And what happened? They went broke.
Get the truth at philsgang.com.
Join my gang, philsgang.com. Get the truth. And also listen to me on my podcast on YouTube and Rumble. That's philsgang.com.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand. Especially yields. The most important thing is to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
To be a successful investor, you need to stay current with the daily changes in the economy and the stock market. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com can be your guide to becoming a better investor. Try the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com for the working investor. From the opening bell to the closing, stay informed with what's happening in real time. The Working Investor program includes full access to the Phil's Gang website, a morning update on what to look for that day on Wall Street, a market wrap on that day's trading, plus seminars, training, and tools to help you become a better investor. Go to philsgang.com for a free 10-day trial. After that, it's just $59.95 a month for membership, daily updates, training, software, and the best investing advice every day. You can invest with the best. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. I want you to think about this. From 2012 to 2022, we had a big booming economy. Why? Because, again, when you look at what banks are paying to buy money, it was at 0.1%, and the 10-year Treasury was at 1.6. So what's that mean? That means that the banks are going to loan. They're going to loan money, put oxygen into the economy. The economy's going to boom. At 1.6% means two things. The mortgage industry is going to boom. The housing industry is going to boom. And the big institution investors are going to buy stock. Now, so that's why from 2012 to 2018, we had a booming market. That's why it's so important to listen to the bond yield, not to what they're telling you on TV. They lie to you. 2018, now we see the banks had to go from 1% buying money to 2.3%. That's a red flag. The 10-year Treasury went from 1.6 to 3%. So that means house mortgages were going to go up. Instead of paying 2.6, house mortgage is going to go to about 3.2. So people would pull back, and they did. So by my gang, having that knowledge, they knew to set up to short 2018, and the market went down about 22%. We made money shorting. So that's why it's important to listen to the yields. The yields will always tell you the truth where the market's going. You never have to ask, what's the market going to do? If the 3-month Treasury yield is way up there, the market's going down. If it's 3-month Treasury yield is down really low, the market's going to go up. Same thing with the 10-year. Now, here's what happened. When we got out of 2018, we hit February 2020. Now the 3-month Treasury all of a sudden inverted. All of a sudden the 3-month Treasury is at 1.6 and the 10-year is lower. Wow, when that happens, that's trouble. And that's why in 2020 we had that crash. They blamed it on COVID. It had nothing to do with COVID. So my members, when I saw that now anytime that it inverts where the 10-year Treasury is lower. Now, why does the 10-year Treasury get lower? What makes it lower than the 3-month Treasury? Because the Federal Reserve keeps printing money, going to the Treasuries auctions, keep on buying Treasuries. The demand is so much for Treasuries. Remember, they kept trying to get interest rates down as close to zero as possible so they could pump tech stocks up without having to have profits. They could pump tech stocks up without having profits by keep on buying Treasuries, getting those yields down. They could loan money to the corporations very, very low, and they would buy their own stock, and then their stock would go up. When it inverted, I tell you, they overdid it. When the 10-year Treasury yield is lower than your 3 months, big trouble, and the market crashed. Boom, went down 20%. It was inverted. Then they lowered rates. Boom, because they did all that. The reason they did all that buying a Treasury, get interest rates back down to near zero. So when the market went down about 28% in March of 2020, ended down there, it rallied right back up about 140%. You see how they're managing the market? All through these yields. Now when we hit January 2022, now the 3-month Treasury, is at 0.1. 10-year Treasury is at 1.5. It's not inverted anymore. But now, again, it's getting expensive. The 10-year Treasury is getting a little more expensive now, just like where it was when it was inverted. So people are nervous. So the market crashed. So we knew to short it. Now, here comes the real problem right now. October 2022 to where we are today. They're not printing money anymore to go and get those Treasury dropped interest rates down to zero to pull the tech stocks up. Why? Because it caused so much inflation from 2008 to 2022, printing, and the government was, again, remember, out there spending money like crazy, more money they had coming in. So that inflation, had to be hit with raising rates again, printing all this money. They had to go and try to get those rates down, right? They once inflation goes up, how do you get inflation down? Smart presidents and smart leaders would say we're going to increase productivity, increase jobs. That's how we're going to get inflation down. But not these guys. These guys said, okay, let's just keep printing money. And that's what they did. So now we're sitting here. Money in October went from 4% the banks have to pay to now 5.44. And the 10 years at 4% in 2022. So we had another inversion. So we had an inversion. Think about this. The 3-month Treasury was more expensive than the 10-year Treasury in February 2020. And then it happened again in October 2022. Inverted, red flag, you're going to have a crash, you're going to have a recession, it always happens, but they've been lying, so no, it's not going to happen. So someone answered to me this: how the hell did the market go from October 2022, how to go all the way up to where it is today, up about 20%, when 10-year Treasury yields were at 4% average? That means no more housing market, housing slowing right up. Institutions They're not going to be out there buying stocks. They're not going to pay $20 for every $1 of earnings. So we lost in October 2022. Our investors, the institutions aren't buying stocks. They're overvalued. They stopped buying. Housing mortgage, houses stopped. The housing mortgage business collapsed, starting to collapse. And then you take the 3-month Treasury, the banks can't buy money. It's too expensive at 4.1%. So between October 2022 and where we are today, August 2023, the mortgage business has been sliding. The banks are paying, they're shutting down their lending. So from October 2022 to now, they shut their lending down. They have to, because if they're buying money at 4% and now at 5%, they're losing money big time in their bonds portfolio, in their lending portfolio, and also what's coming. They got the commercial loans. They're all coming up belly up. People are handing in their keys to shopping centers instead of houses, and apartment buildings instead of a house. So now things are really bad. So they were able to rig the market from October to where we are now, just enough that the five big banks can get out all the big unions, the teachers union, the steel union workers, get them out of the market. When they're done and they're just holding the market up, the same thing happened in 2008, it'll crash. We'll get about another 9% crash, then it'll rally up again, and then you get the final crash. So if you really want to understand how to be a good investor, you've got to understand the bond market. If all you do is sit around and listen to what they tell you on CNBC or Fox Business, buy or sell, you're screwed. You're not going to ever make money. 2 things you need to do. Understand, it's so easy. We'll teach this to you. You in the 10 days, you'll learn it without paying a dime. First 10 days are free. Once you learn how to buy a stock based on the bond market, because once you know that the banks are paying too much interest for money, you know that the oxygen is getting shut off, so stocks are going to go down. When you see the 10-year Treasury going up, that means the oxygen is shutting off the real estate business. The market's going to go down. So tonight, for a full understanding, around 7:30 tonight, I do a whole video. And you should really look at that, and it's going to make you a better investor, because then you go, I get it. Now I'm going to get it. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. It's a great video.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
Thinking about investing in the stock market? Go to philsgang.com, where we have over 50 years experience in trading and investing in the stock market. Phil's Gang teaches you how to make profits in the market with stock chart analysis, up-to-the-minute alerts, and always keeping you informed with professional guidance in long and short-term positions. Go to philsgang.com or call one of our professional staff to answer your questions. 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Stop wondering about your financial future and start doing something about it.
The feds have raised interest rates again, and AI is the topic of the day. No matter what the financial headlines are, be a successful investor with Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Take advantage of the free 10-day trial for the Working Investor Program. Phil Grandy has put together the tools you need to understand the stock market, with full access to the Phil's Gang website and access to Phil's Pro 2 color-coded charting software. Know with confidence when to buy, sell, and short a stock. Members also have access to Coffee Talk. Every morning at 8:30 Eastern, Phil Grandy talks about what's happening on Wall Street that day. Want to be a better investor? Then take advantage of the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com. You'll find many more features and tools for the working investor. After the trial, it's just $59.95 a month for membership. Invest with the best. Phil's Gang at philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
What, are you nuts? If the stock market can make you so rich, especially Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon and the rest, why are so many Americans poor? If the 401k promises you a retirement, then why is it we are in a retirement crisis? Here's the answer. Because 85% of you get out of the market too late. I fixed that with my color-coded chart, which tells you when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out. That's right, when to run like hell. Check it out. You get a free membership and the free color-coded chart for 10 days. Check it out, philsgang.com.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
You know, the reason why you want to understand the bond yields, because then when you look at the bond yield, you're going to know the truth if you should buy the stock or not. Here's a great example. Here's somebody lying. Listen to these two cuts.
Bankrate out with a new survey showing that cardholders are carrying more debt than ever before. It seems to me that there are more people carrying more debt at higher rates. But is there any indication that they are having trouble carrying this higher debt, that they are more delinquent on the debt, that they are suffering because of it?
Well, thank goodness for the strong job market. That's really what's helping to keep people on track, because delinquencies have gone up a little bit.
All right, hear what he said? Delinquency's going up a little bit. Now listen to what this says.
Consumer credit card delinquencies are the highest they've been since the global financial crisis.
Okay. And also, remember, he's saying delinquencies went up a little bit. Well, they went up a lot. But here's another thing. He said people are not doing too bad. Well, here's what's going on. Remember what's helping out the people, but no more. What's helping out the people with all the debt is they went into their 401ks, they went into their savings, they refinanced their homes, and that put the pain off for a while. But now that rates, here we go, let's go to the bond market. So when rates were when the banks were buying money at 0.1%, 2.3%, 1.6%, 0.1%, the market was booming. Oxygen going into the economy, right? Now you go look at the 10-year Treasury, 1.6, 1.5, 1.5. Oxygen was going in. People were buying homes. But the time that the 10-year Treasury went up to 3.0, we had the crash in 2018. Oxygen was cut off. So we knew to buy at the 1.6. We knew to buy at the 1.5. We knew to buy at the other 1.5, but we knew to short when the 10-year Treasury was at 3. And in 2018, we shorted. We also knew to short because the 3-month Treasury, the rate at which the banks pay for money, was at 2.3. Now, here's what's really amazing. So now, from October up to August 2023, where we are today, banks are buying money at 4%, and the 10-year Treasury, banks are buying money at 5%, no longer 0.1% or 1.6%, 5%. They can't make money. They're losing money on their bonds, losing money on their loan portfolio. They're getting crushed. They're getting killed. And the 10-year Treasury is at 4%. Nobody's going to be buying a house. Nobody's going to be refinancing. Oxygen's getting totally cut off. The housing market's going to crash. But nobody's going to tell you the truth about this. So it tells us, as the stock market was going up, something was wrong. How could the stock market be going up? Well, we figured it out quickly because they're trying to, just same thing they did in 2008. They got all the pension funds out, the unions out, all out of the market. They propped the market up. Once they're out, they pull the bid and the market will crash. We're going to have about a 9% pullback first before that happens. One more rally to get the rest of them out. Then once they're all out, you finally get the crash. You get below that October low. Again, to understand the yields, very important. Please go to tonight, be around 7:30, we'll save, that we'll have on the YouTube channel the excellent long-term explanation. I mean, it's just a good explanation of how you should follow the bond market. And then you'll be a much, much better trader, okay? Because then you know when to buy and when not to buy. And if you join the gang free for 10 days, we'll assist you with that. We'll help you with that. Now, but here's the terrible thing that's going on. They don't tell us the truth. You know, everyone talks about the swamp in Washington, and there's a swamp in Washington. Let me give you an example. And there's a swamp on Wall Street. Let's talk about first the swamp in Washington. If you know anything about art, in 2019, I don't know a lot about it, in 2019, a Monet art painting would sell at Christie's for $700,000. A Degas would sell at $500,000 at Christie's. But guess what? Then you had, of course, another famous artist, okay, Hunter Biden. Well, he couldn't get in the 10th district of New York, where all the art galleries are. He couldn't get one art gallery to show his paintings. Now, this is Hunter Biden, famous painter. But something changed in 2020. His father became president. And soon, one gallery says, I'll take your paintings. Well, guess what we found out? Talk about a swamp. And who represents the 10th District of New York? A crook. One of the biggest crooks in the Senate. Now I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name now. I'll remember it. So what he did is, this congressman goes in and makes a deal with this art gallery. Remember, they're giving out all that disaster money, all the money for the COVID. He gave him like 5 times as much money as anyone. I'm talking about the congressman in the 10th district. God, I can't think of his name. Got greasy hair. He's a real bad dude. And then Biden sold his painting for $500,000 at this gallery. So the only way that Hunter Biden could get his artwork and sell it for $500,000 in this one gallery, because the congressman arranged it that he get 4 times as much money because of the COVID than anybody. Nadler, that's it. This came to me. Nadler. You ever see Nadler? Greasy hair, big fat guy. Well, obviously, he made a deal with the gallery. He made sure he's got 4 or 5 times the amount of money that anybody else got. And the gallery said, sure, I'll show his painting. That's the swamp. That's how it works in Washington. It works the same way in the stock market on Wall Street. These guys all stick together. But if you understand the market, the only way you're going to understand the market, I should say, if you understand the bond market, the yields, then you don't have to depend on anybody. But right now, if you don't understand, you don't know when to buy a stock or not buy a stock. And if you learn how to sell short, once you understand the yields, which always tell the truth, which always give you direction in which way the market's going, up or down, And you'll find that out tonight when you go to my long-term explanation on the YouTube channel. And if you always know the direction, you don't have to guess. And then you also know if the economy is going to get better or not by looking to see what the 3-month Treasury is doing, because that's the rate in which the banks pay for their money. And when all of a sudden they're paying 5% for money, they can't loan money. They can't loan money to anybody. They're in deep, deep trouble. And now the defaults are coming in. And that's why the bank stocks, remember, we bought our bank stocks. First we bought the tech stocks back in January and February and March. Then we bought the tech stocks, then we bought leisure, then we bought oil and banks. Yeah, banks, tech, banks, travel, oil. When nobody wanted those stocks because we knew to buy them, because we knew what the 3-month Treasury was very low and we knew the 10-year Treasury was low. We knew the market would go up. We knew it would go up because of those two factors. Now we're getting ready to sell short. Now, a lot of people right now have been buying stocks on that October low. They don't realize that, they don't even know what it means that the 3-month low, the 3-month yield went from 4 to 5%. They have no clue what that means. That means the banks are paying almost 5% for money. They're going to stop lending. Defaults are going to be bigger, and the banks are going to crash, bringing down this whole stock market. They don't know what it means when the 10-year Treasury now is at 4%. That means the housing market is going to crash, and the big institutions aren't buying the tech stocks or any other stock. So they rigged that whole market between October and where it is today. And watch what happens. Mark my words. On this day, I said the market's going to retreat about 9% first. Then they're going to rally one more time, fails, and then the final crash comes. So go to my site, philsgang.com. Join for the 10 days, free. Okay, hope you stay with us after that. If you don't, when you're making money because of the knowledge we gave you, please help St. Jude. So go to philsgang.com and get started. Tonight, go to my website, go to YouTube channel, where I'll have the full explanation. I'm teaching you tonight on YouTube channel how to watch the yield curve. Understand what an inverted yield curve is. By the way, we've had an inverted yield curve, remember, 2020, an inverted yield curve in 2022, and now the rates are at 5%. Banks have to pay 5% for money.
Your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me.